So this is going to be a very exciting match to see.
That's actually
because,
awesome.
He's been playing since the game came out, and I think Josh has also been playing pretty relatively close to when the game started coming out. So this is an amazing match to see.
Quite excite.
It will be a very intricate match, that's for sure.
That's probably the exact wording that Josh will use.
I mean, when's the last time Josh had to play a Dory CC mirror? It's probably been forever. He's just happy to play it, I imagine.
Oh, I'm sure he's thrilled.
Well, backs against the wall.
Looks like they're about ready here. We got...
I'm muting out. Good luck, everyone. Safe travels, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, so if we get to see a route for game, I will be ecstatic.
Josh is literally channeling the route energy right now.
Oh, I see it. Got all the route energy.
One thing really quick I have to add. Yes. Josh was playing Bolton at Nationals, and he was routing people, and they were not happy about it, and it might have been the funniest thing I've ever experienced in Flesh and Blood.
It's disrespectful.
It's almost as disrespectful as Flock Reveal Razor or New Horizon. Put Gorganian Tome on the top of your deck, and then play triple Ravenous Rabble from your hand or your arsenal.
Oh my goodness!
You know,
the best play is Flock Reveal Razor, have them block 9, and then you go snap Spellbound Creepers, play my Plunder on red from arsenal, bounding for 7.
GG. All right, I am muting. Have fun.
Looks like they're about ready.
Yep.
Maybe they're waiting for a message. I'll tell them we're ready when they are.
Yep. Jeez, what an exciting match this is gonna be.
Oh man, every time I get to see what Josh play Dorinthea, it's like a going back to school moment. Exactly. I know for a fact after this match he's gonna come in here and give me the mathematical breakdown on how he accounted for this, and this, and he routed his opponent for game, because it was mathematically impossible for him to have the block. It's gonna be fantastic. One big thing that you guys in the audience will notice, Josh is very keen about, is when to use his equipment to block. He's very, very methodical, and he always will make sure that his opponent and him both know how much they're attacking and blocking for, using some dice on the board to represent the damage. Yep. And so nobody's ever confused about anything, which if you guys at home are having trouble maintaining game states and constantly having miscommunication, that's something you can try out, using dice to represent how much damage is coming through instead of just announcing it verbally, so nobody's ever confused. It's a very good thing. And then,
honestly, in my next competitive season, I think I'm going to adapt that and do it because,
honestly, go ahead.
At these callings or pro quest events that we have coming up, there are cases where your opponent, writes life down because they, let's just say, it's simple as Command and Conquer with Ira. You say 6 because it's an accident, and then they write down 7, or they take 6 when it is 7, and things just get messed up, and it's just so much easier to just have it on the board. If a judge comes over, you can be like, my dice are there. It says 7.
Right.
So that's what I was representing.
100% agree. 100% agree. Anytime you can have proof of what's happening on the board state, you're much better, especially in a judge call situation.
Yep.
And also, not to mention, there's something to be said for using your hands to do things on the board, for thinking purposes. So it makes you slow down because you're attack for 6 or whatever, and you get the dice out and you're moving, you have time to think about exactly what you're doing. And anytime you can slow yourself down just a little bit to make sure you don't make a mistake, it can be extremely helpful.
100% agree. And it looks like Josh did lose the die roll here. Yep. So Alberto's gonna pick who's gonna be on the play.
Do you think he'll pick to go second, or I
You
know
don't
in Blitz, going second with Dorinthea is always correct, but I haven't played Dorinthea in Classic enough to know if that's also the decision there. And
Exactly.
maybe his opponent is not like a thoroughbred Dorinthea player and doesn't know that as well. So there's also the chance he'll pick first just because of that.
Funny enough, when I played Josh in the skirmishes in the top 4 match, at the last one we played, he actually opted to go.
He opted to go second. Yep.
Yep, opted to go second.
Thank you, Will. Yeah, it was a rough end for me, but at least I'm handsome. That's
Yes, you
true.
are.
That's true. It was I got double razored for game. Sebastian knows a thing or two about that.
Using dice to keep track be slow playing? No, not when you're playing fast and you're just doing it cohesively as you're playing the card, and because your opponent's going to take a second to think about their block anyway, so it's not really, maybe with a deck like Briar, maybe, but it's pretty, you can pretty quickly just put a dice at 4 and just show everything that you're doing.
So slow playing is when you're taking forever in between actions.
Yeah.
If you announce that you attack for 6 and you're just setting up the dice, while you're setting up the dice, your opponent can be blocking. So there's no sort of like slow play that can be called for something like that. Now, if you're setting up the dice and like twiddling around with the dice and then while you still haven't made a play, then that's considered slow play.
Yep.
But if you say Dawnblade for 6, your opponent has a window to respond while you're setting up the dice. So no slow play can be called.
Josh here, he went first, so I think Alberto made him go first. He plays Time Snap Potion, takes up Tunic, plays Time Snap Arsenals, and passes.
Honestly, I think that's a fantastic. Turn. Yeah.
That's exactly what you want.
You don't want to waste any cards in your deck. There's a lot of cards in your deck that you're going to be counting throughout this matchup. How many Singing Steel Blades? How many of the really important cards? So you don't want to be blocking with those on turn 0.
Yeah. And it looks like we got Naked Dawnblade here, and Josh does the correct play of taking it.
Oh yeah, that was no-brainer there.
What we're waiting for is a triple attack. This is what they're setting up in CC.
Yeah, they are setting up a triple, I believe it's twinning turn with, preferably a Supremacy out, so you have resources to do all of it, and just go as wide as possible in one turn.
Definitely.
And
so, are we about to pop the Time Snap Potion already?
Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, a flock.
Into a flock.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Oh, this might be a really big turn here.
The Matt Rogers special.
Oh, this is huge.
And Kyle just said 30 people still, and I just want to say shout out to all of you. Again, thank you for being in the stream and watching.
I do want to say one thing really quick. Yes. He did say he was going old school with this list.
And this is old school.
Yep. All right, sounding off.
Oh, I love Flock of the Featherwalkers.
Revealing the blue Iron Song.
Yep.
You know what? And this might be a bait play to make him block when he doesn't need to, and then he's just gonna pass. Or he could do a really huge turn here.
Nah, he's not gonna pop the Time Snap and not at least attack twice. He's got a minimum of 3 attacks, I believe, that can come through here. Flock gives go again, Time Snap extra, Dawnblade attacks twice, but the Dawnblade still needs to hit for it to be able to attack twice.
So he got a block on the first attack, which is good.
Yeah, very good. Very good. He definitely wanted his opponent to drop a card on that flock.
And right now, Alberto can't use Skullcap. So, and he's just double blocking with the CNC. It looks like he had an all red hand, so he's like, I'm not going to be able to use double Iron Song response.
That's what you want to do, because then he's got the floating resource. Oh, he accidentally did that probably.
He did. It's just funny that.
Yeah, he definitely didn't want to use the red one there, right? Or would that be?
Yeah.
No, he did. He did.
He's double.
Yeah, he did for sure. He needs to get that 7 damage over the 6.
I love that he baited with the blue one, and then add the red one.
And then he's gonna attack again.
Yeah, he's definitely going for a counter here. I mean, like if
Alberto does the quickest sink below I've ever seen.
Also worthy to note that one of those important cards we were talking about got blocked with that turn, a red Iron Song response.
Oh yeah.
As you can see in that turn there for Josh, the red Iron Song is extremely valuable throughout this match, being one of the things that you can get off Singing Steel Blade. So Josh will definitely be counting that card.
He also lost a red Alpha Blood, which is another 1 cost 3.
Yep. And a CNC, which in this matchup can be very annoying to block if you don't have your equipment and they time it out right.
Definitely.
Alberto going for an attack here and not just setting up with the Glint in Arsenal, which is interesting.
Well, guess if Josh wants to block, which I don't think he does at all. He's just trying to get cards out of his hand. I think
that Glint can be very powerful to save the refractions, or if you don't hit a non-attack action. So
definitely, but Josh is already set up with a 5-card hand. So his next turn, he potentially won't even be able to utilize the Glint. It might just be a dead card for a while.
Block Carter out.
I'm sorry. Not yet, my student. You're not ready for that.
Soon, my child.
Yep. And Josh coming right back with the Naked Dawnblade.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any pre-attack, non-attack actions. Yeah.
And he said no blocks.
That's what you want to see right there.
That's it.
So this was another reason I was saying he got the card out of Josh's hand, which was the route, but the route in Josh's hand, it's powerful, but not this early into the game. So he could have had a 5-card hand here, but he did get the route out early, so that is good.
Now we're getting into Tunic territory, so our Tunics are up 3 now. So we could potentially see some more prominent turns here. Little extra attack action. Goodness.
So, you think Josh is gonna block this, or do you think I don't think Josh, even when he is racing, doesn't commit to some kind of defense, because he's just so methodical in blocking and making sure every point of damage counts and it matters, and he knows, because he's just on a different level, that if you're at 1 life, you're still in the game. So all you have to do is just stay alive, which I think some people forget when they're blocking early.
Oh, definitely. Blocking early, especially in this Dorinthea mirror match, it's something that really needs to be thought through. I think a lot of people try to use their life total as a resource too aggressively in the early game and then get punished for it later.
Yeah.
If you just block with all your equipment early, you're going to get punished later by, a route or a turn that you really needed to use your equipment to block, to not give your opponent reprise. Just little key things like that. But I think the biggest priority in this matchup is not giving your opponent a counter on the Dawnblade, because generally the first person to get a counter is gonna have a strong advantage in the matchup.
Yep, for sure. And he's actually going to
a block for 4 against 4 here. Out for blood. I believe this is blue.
Yep. I believe here he's making him play out his cards. He's like, if he has a pump spell that cost 1, he'll have to pitch another card or use Tunic to attack with Dawnblade again, which then, like Nathan said in the chat, then he won't have it for Shunt.
Right.
So Agreed. Either way, he's baiting out cards here no matter what. If you're struggling against Dory and Blitz, to the viewers, the best thing to do is watch the deck being played. Maybe if you have the cards, play the deck and do the math for them. You're like, okay, what do they have here? Even if they do have a 3 pump spell, they only have 1 floating, so that means they would have to pitch another card, and then there's not much they could do with that, and things like that.
I agree, and I think the biggest barrier to entry for Dorinthea for newer players into the game is how Dorinthea works, because there's multiple conditions that need to be met for the sword to attack twice. Yep. 1, the sword needs to have go again, and 2, it needs to actually hit. So it's very easy to, look at what's happening and being like, oh, they're going to get to attack with it again, even though this, and this, right? Well, no, if they didn't have go again, that sword's not going to get to attack again. Or no, if I
Exactly.
block fully, it's also not going to get to attack again, even if it's got go again from Warrior's Valor or something like that. So the double condition there is harder for a new player to understand. But once you've grasped that, it's a fantastic deck to try to play and play against because it
Oh,
teaches
yeah.
you a lot of fundamentals about the game.
Teaches you the best fundamental. Put them on
Yep.
better habit. My favorite.
Better have it and go again.
And you can
All
really
right.
see the skill of these players when they know this deck so well that like when Josh is blocking, he's doing it fairly quick, and when Alberto's blocking, he's doing it fairly quick because they kind of know the ins and outs, and they're just like, I know what I need to do here with this 4-card hand, and they're figuring it out pretty fast.
For sure. And I think Josh's opponent here is about to have a very good turn because he used the refraction bolters and the skull cap.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Brandish,
this
a
is gonna
Monarch
be
Steel card.
yeah, nice card here. What is this, +3? If it hits, your power of your weapon gains +1 power. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah,
then
that's a
making
neat card.
Dawnblade breakpoint of 4, which is very important.
Very
And
important
it's actually
to
going to
hit.
get the block from Josh here.
Not surprising to see the block there. Oh, geez.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Still like hard in hand.
This. Now, I know if anyone was going to play out of this correctly, it would be Josh. And here he is doing his dice to make sure the right amount of damage is being represented.
Yeah.
It is pushing that breakpoint of 7. So
This is a fantastic attack. We might see Josh double block with bolters here as well. I think it's very, very unlikely that the card in his opponent's hand here is going to be a pump with no resources floating.
It would have to be an Iron Song.
Right, and this shows you the value of the Iron Song response in this matchup is pushing through the damage in situations like this.
Exactly.
But I think if you give him the double block plus the refraction bolters for 7, you're preventing a card draw. Most likely, he's not going to be able to push over if he doesn't have the Iron Song response. So this is a huge, huge block moment here. This is a very defining point of the mid game.
If he's able to stuff this, then he has no resources to attack again with the Dawnblade. It won't get a counter, and then he'll be able to just reset the game. In. He'll take a turn off. Alberto will have a turn, hopefully less powerful, that he can just eat up like a Dawnblade for 3, and then he can get back into the game.
Yep. Do you think there's any chance that Josh does not block here?
It's very risky because
without any resources floating, he would need to. Yeah. Okay. Just give him the hand. Yep. Here it is.
So,
giving him the 10 block.
Yep. Yeah, because that's what I was about to say. That if he does have the Iron Song here, Josh kind of gets unreeled because he's going to draw the card, attack again, draw another card, refresh his arsenal. He can't take that risk. He's just like
For sure.
resetting the game state. They both have a 5-card hand. Josh is 7 life up, so he can take a turn of damage when it's not coming at him for a draw card, guaranteed go again, copper tokens making that usually do not come up, but there are niche cases where they could come up.
Yep. Now I'm curious to see how he tries to get the tempo back, because now the tempo is in full swing of his opponent's favor. So
exactly.
Usually the equipment is used to try to get the tempo back. With his life total still being higher, he still can't use the skull cap. But the refraction bolters are something we haven't talked about too much, and how important those are in this match.
Oh yeah.
Having those Warrior's Valors early game are a fantastic way to have go again on your blade just naturally. But when you don't have any of those go agains, but say you draw like one of the Steel Blade Supremacies or something like that, you want to be able to have that go again ready to go at any moment. So the refraction bolters keeping those for a turn when you have a powerful attack, but no go again, is so key in this match. Oh, and here's another time snap potion.
Yeah,
from
so what
Josh.
Josh is doing here is he's saying, I'm going to wait it out until you have a bad turn. Because
Exactly.
Dorinthea, if you block them out, there's not much they can do.
Exactly.
And it looks like Alberto's going to draw another Warrior's Valor. I think this is a red one here, so he's just drawing the gas back to back to back. So now Josh has to consider, is this worth letting him get the counter or trying to block the second attack, or do I just keep 3 blocking here and hope he doesn't have a way to get over 9?
Yeah.
Which, when you're at 6, it's actually very easy to get over 9. Especially with 2 cards in hand, 1 floating and 1 in arsenal. He could definitely have an overpower here, a route,
Sure.
any number of things.
And I think one of the ways Josh can get back in this game is a steel blade shunt at some point or another here.
Yes. Yes. Especially next turn when he gets the tunic up, that's definitely something that can happen.
Josh has also maintained his life total here, so when he does try to get back into the game, he will be able to take some
And
damage.
As you see here,
Oof. That's a really good follow-up to the Dawnblade. Not sure prioritizing the Command and Conquer over the counter on the Dawnblade threat is interesting.
that's what
call.
I was about to say. In one hand, gets rid of his arsenal, it sucks. But Josh has enough life here to play with that I think as long as his opponent isn't getting that Dawnblade counter, he's okay.
Yeah.
It just depends on how valuable that arsenal card is right now.
Yeah,
And
'cause I think
looking back
Josh
at
is
it.
Josh is way more likely to take a Command and Conquer. Oh, did he just shuffle his deck on accident? He did just shuffle his deck on accident. That's unfortunate.
That changes the whole
Very-
game, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Uh,
But we'll
hopefully
let
he
them
plays,
resolve that.
Yeah. Hopefully he plays a Singing Steel Blade at some point, so maybe it just didn't matter anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so he
It
wants
does
the card.
For sure. That's an interesting call. Isaiah is more likely to just take that damage than if a blade was coming at him for threatening a counter. So
I feel like if it was a blade, he probably would have maybe even blocked more on that. So it looks like he's time snapping, going for pitching a time snap, going at 3.
are we about to see a steel blade shot maybe?
We got a razor.
Or a sink below of some sort? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
Sink below.
A sink. He's sinking. But this
Is
is
he
what
sinking?
Josh needed. Yeah. This is what Josh needed, though. He needed him right here to not have a powerful turn. So now he can take some damage and get back into the game. Obviously, that Arsenal card is valuable because it keeps looking back at it. He protected it for a turn. He's protecting it for a couple turns here, 3 turns, and still hasn't played it out. He's looking to get a massive turn off, I think.
What do you think it is? You think maybe it's like a flock or something?
I don't know. It could just be like a steel supremacy that he's just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah.
And here's the first shunt of the game.
Yep.
Full blocking that with the tunic counter. Pretty good.
And dealing a damage in the process.
Yep.
Does steel blade shunt cost 1?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So good with tunic. So good. Taking the Valor hit signals mean he may have wanted to have a big turn, and CNC challenges that. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it definitely, like you said, it's a tough call between the CNC and going for the counter. The CNC on one hand ruins his 5-card hand, whereas the Dawnblade threatens, honestly, to win the game. So it's really tough call. So hit and
doing
run
the
being
hit-
played here. Yep.
For the guaranteed go again, so it might be a flock. He might just be flocking and passing here.
That would be interesting.
Flock, reveal a card, put that card in arsenal, and then just play the mind games. You know what's in my arsenal, and you know what's coming out.
Yeah.
I gotta go again next turn.
Kind of like in the last game when my opponent beacons for a plunder run and puts the plunder run in arsenal, you know. Always gotta be ready for that plunder run. 'Cause you know it's
Exactly.
coming.
What you can't be ready for is drawing 2 courageous deals on your kill turn. Reds.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Curious here. His opponent
Nathan
has
Crawford
his.
said nourishing. If he's playing nourishing, let's see it. I'm happy.
You think it's a nourishing? I mean, that's a very reasonable card to have.
I mean,
But he's played Flock though, so it's
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
get the value that it once had. So my guess is he's probably not playing nourishing if he's playing Flocks, especially with the old school build.
And Kyle said he realized that he's playing Flock and Razor, so he actually has a target or Razor to give it go again, and that's even more disrespectful because he can do that play.
That's lovely. I would love to see that.
And this Dorinthea mirror is so interesting because like every turn they're trading 2, maybe 3 cards, hitting each other back, Dawn blading, naked Dawn blade on some turns, and it's just so interesting.
Now this is his opponent's like 5th Warrior's Valor, so
he's got to be. This is scary because he's played a Spoils, he's played 4 Warriors Valors now. He's got to be running low on these cards.
Yeah, he's also blocked with 1 or 2 of them as well. Not sure if you saw that.
I know Josh is blocked with some too, but I think Alberto's just playing these out at a rapid rate, and
I mean, really has no choice because the second one of these hits, he's threatening the counter, and you just have to keep that pressure up. His opponent's also played quite a few defense reactions, which okay, so this is signaling to me that Josh has a sink below. Yep, there it is.
And Josh said, I'm going to give you an armor, and I'm going to keep this 3-card hand.
Definitely.
So here, Alberto might actually have the shunt now live because of that tunic being up.
Yeah, he's actually had his tunic for several turns. As you can see, Josh is almost back to 3 on his tunic as well after that shunt play.
Yep. Josh is so in the lead because of how many Valors are left in the deck, in my opinion. Yeah, Justin, it could. And I think that late game that's going to come up, especially I think in Dorinthea, pitching the blue and the yellow are very important because when you're in that second cycle and your opponent doesn't really have too much ways to give go again, and then you just have something with a plus and go again on hit is very nice to have.
Yeah, and the big plays that we want to see in the Dorinthea deck, we actually haven't seen any of the large plays yet. I know a lot of times they like to pitch them together to the bottom and save them for late game, or if they do draw them, you want to arsenal it to wait for a sequence of cards that's going to be more optimal, which is Steelblade Supremacy in combination with Iron Song Determination. You want to have that dominate effect, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of times you'll see these Dorinthea players save their defense reactions because that Iron Song Determination play is so threatening. And here comes a Steelblade. Yeah,
it's been there the whole time.
This signals to me that Josh has quite a bit of buff in hand for him to go ahead and play out this the Steelblade Supremacy here. I am fully expecting an overblock on the other side of the board here.
And I really love this match because, we didn't get to play in this format where Dorinthea was a main deck. By the time we really, in Blitz, yes, but when we really started playing in Monarch, Dorinthea just couldn't really do it against Chain. I mean, most decks couldn't. And it was just and especially against Prism.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting to see these games, the chicken that are being played right now, and the blocking and how skillful it is.
It's such an old school, matchup with the attacking, blocking, and reacting. So it's really pleasant to see. You think we're going to see the bolters here if his opponent doesn't have a reaction? I would fully expect to see it with the Steelblade threatening a draw.
Possibly, because if he can push that counter or push more blocks out of his hand,
oh, there's the shunt.
You know what? I think this is actually good for Josh because in this moment
he gets to save the bolters this way.
Get to save the bolters, get to save the card in hand that he can arsenal. And Alberto's already played how many defense reactions this game?
Oh man, it's been I think 5, 7, 6. I think maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
2 sinks, 2 fates, a steel blade shunt.
Oh, and Alberto's doing it right back to him.
Yep, definitely. Also noticed Alberto kept his life total at a very key number here, because if Josh was left, he'd probably be, if he was less than his opponent here, he'd probably be tempted to use the skull cap to stop a steel blade draw. But a skull cap's also another thing you want to save for those determination plays. So I don't know. I'm not skilled enough in a Dorinthea player to know whether it's okay to go ahead and block early with skull cap on a play like a steel blade supremacy. Or try to force out, maybe like let him draw a card here and get rid of, like, say, like you need the refraction bolters to have go again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is also where I want to talk to the stream for a second, that this is where blocking is very important in knowing what your opponent's deck can do. Because right now, Josh knows with 1 floating that the best he could have is a singing steel blade and going into an iron song. So the most he can buff this up is by 4.
Yep.
And that's, and possibly even 3 if it's just a 1 pump spell like Out for Blood or Foresight or Razor Reflex. So Josh kind of, this is the whole predicting thing with Dorinthea. He kind of knows what the limits of his turn are, especially by playing the deck.
And also consider how much damage a Dorinthea player can do with the amount that he has floating as well. Because if he makes that singing steel blade play, he will have no way to attack again with the Dawnblade. So it's very important to know that when your opponent can have go again with their blade as well.
Exactly, and this is also an important moment in the match because this is the second Steel Blade Supremacy that Alberto's played out. So if he gets this play stuff too, you know, he's kind of running out of gas in the deck.
Yeah, I think a lot of his bigger plays in the deck are going to be the routes and the Iron Song determinations. But to get rid of the Steel Blade Supremacies for not a whole lot of value early. If you'll notice, Josh has been saving his Steel Blade Supremacies for when he thinks that he has a bigger turn. Whereas his opponent has just been kind of playing them out with his like reserving like a 1-card hand, just a very, very normal play like Steel Blade and a Dawnblade. So he's not trying to get as much value out of the card as Josh is.
Yep. Exactly. And I think Josh might actually be thinking about blocking with a skull cap here, even though it's not as optimal as he wants it to be. It hitting for 5 right now, plus possibly 4. I mean,
yeah. I think Josh is going to save the skull cap. I think honestly he's trying to decide whether it's worth blocking at all. Because if he gives him a block here, he can just do the card in his hand, but he knows that he won't have go again if he does that. So if he doesn't block at all, then he's trying to force out the refraction bolters.
So Anthony said that Josh has already blocked with a steel blade here too.
Yep.
So I mean supremacy. So I guess they're both at 1 now. And
we're gonna see a buff here of some sort into draw a card, into refraction bolters, into attack again, assuming Josh does not have a defense reaction.
And what's funny here is, you know, if Josh does have a defense reaction, he did perfect math on it.
I guess he could glint as well, but then he wouldn't know because I guess he's 1 over at the moment, right? Or no, he's at 6, so no, he does need to grab a buff. He does need to grab a buff.
Which all he can afford to play out right now is Iron Song. And he might actually just grab a blue just because it gets over and he doesn't have to waste a red one.
Yeah.
Because all that matters is if it gets over, not if it's how much damage it's necessarily doing. Let's see. Oh, okay, going for the glint play.
Just the Arsenal card. Interesting.
Interesting.
That is actually quite interesting. Do you agree with that, Sebastian, or what do you think of that play?
Interesting.
yeah. I don't know what else to say about it, right?
And there's a third supremacy on Josh, and this is what we're talking about. You think like, oh, he has a terrible hand. No, he's actually setting that up for late game.
I wonder if his opponent will notice that he has the tunic for go again. Because if his opponent would have not blocked and forgot about the tunic counter, thinking he had no resources, his tunic counter would have allowed him to attack again there. So that's an interesting play. I like that. Very good use of the hit and run.
We have a couple people saying odd play.
Yeah.
By the way, I do think this is the last spoils for war. So,
Is this the second one? Or did he block with one?
I believe he played one on his first supremacy turn. He just blocked with one, and now he's playing the third one.
I gotcha.
And I think Josh has maybe blocked with two of them. So I think Josh is one up on the spoils of war also.
It is so bizarre to me that we haven't seen a block or a use of an Iron Song Determination. Like, I don't even, like, are they actually playing that card, or?
Kyle said that in CC, probably not.
That's interesting, yeah. I guess they just value the buffs a bit more than the dominate, or because I guess the dominate doesn't matter as much. But I don't know. I really, really like the dominate in this deck because it allows you to get that counter on the Dawn Blade. But I guess since they're both playing so many defense reactions, that the dominate becomes way worse.
Yep. And by the way, Josh, he did go ahead, eat that Dawn Blade, and say, I am going to go to 27, so if you choose to block out this turn, I can finally use that Skull Cap.
Yep.
And Kyle said you focus more on getting cards out of hand, which I think is correct. It's probably a great finisher in some matches. Like, I don't know, maybe, you know, because I just haven't played Dorinthea or through formats like that. Maybe you kind of against Bravo.
Yeah.
They do play more defense reaction heavy. Maybe there was a play for that, but I guess nowadays they're just focusing on getting cards out of hand.
So here's a Red Warrior's Valor.
Yep.
I think this is actually a great time to use the Red Warrior's Valor while his opponent does not have an arsenal. That way, if he wants to block, he's not going to have a good turn to follow it up with. Ooh, blocking with 2 blues, though. That's interesting. And another one of his Warrior Valors, not to mention.
I think the resource game is going way into Josh's favor right here.
I agree.
And you have to also notice this pitch stack. He pitched, I believe, a couple blues, and then he just pitched the Supremacy last turn, and now he's pitching the Stinging Steel Blade, which will be next to the Supremacy. So
yeah, that's going to be a fantastic turn once we cycle back to that. Yeah, y'all keep that in mind. That Steel Blade Supremacy plus that Singing Steel Blade is going to come back around. I'm calling it right now. When we get back to that turn, that's going to be one of like the game-winning plays. And this is a very slow grind of life total, so we're for sure going to see that cycle again.
And Chris Ray said it's better to allow your opponent to miss block and CC, to be honest, and I believe
absolutely,
that's true.
Absolutely. Here's another Naked Dawn Blade for 3, and take it.
He said, if you want to break Refraction Bolters, go right ahead.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
take it, you know?
Yep. Now we got a 5-card hand. Let's see what he can do. I wonder if the copper tokens will ever become relevant.
In general, you mean like in this game, or?
I mean, yeah, like in the for sure down the road in game design they'll become relevant at some point or another. But I think like right now in this particular matchup, will it ever come up? That his opponent will break a copper token. I'm curious.
It depends.
I know it's a rarity.
Josh told me it's come up. He has told me it has come up. 1 out of 1,000 games or something like that.
I mean, if you draw 3 blues and you have the resources to do it, you know, like.
Hey, it helps.
Yeah. It is Josh's turn right now at the moment, right?
Yes, I believe so. I think he just ate the Dawn Blade, and he went from 27 to 24. Now it's his turn. He's thinking about his turn.
Wonder if he's Okay, yeah, he's there. Wasn't sure. I didn't see his mouse moving. So yeah, so we don't know what Josh's arsenal card is at the moment. Don't believe. So. Okay, time snap potion. Here we go. This could be a good play. Yep, could be a good turn here.
Oh, I guess he hadn't blocked with 2 of them because he pitched one and now he has another one. So yeah, he did have 2 left in the deck.
Very interesting here. Very interesting. Blocking for 6 on his 5 attack. 1 buff is going to get over. I'm going to assume that his opponent probably has a defense reaction and arsenal.
Yeah.
Could
I think
also see
Josh-
a flock with the time snap potion.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen but just one flock, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I think I don't know
that's
how many
very
plays.
likely. Very, very likely. The see a flock after this. Expect like having his opponent, wanting to block essentially here. But blocking, I don't know. This is tough. This is real tough. I feel
This
like
is tough
using
territory.
using the Steel Blade Supremacy here is signaling that he really wants to push some damage through and have a decent turn. Wait, whoa.
Oh, so I guess
Okay.
Alberto was saying, I'm considering my blocks right now.
I gotcha.
And-
With him having popped the Time Snap Potion, what do you think of the triple block?
I think it's better than double block because now Alberto's saying you have to actually play 2 cards to get over this. Because
But what if we see it? But what if we see a CNC after this?
I don't think Josh is playing CNC considering he's playing Flock. I think that'd be too many attack actions. He doesn't want to muddy the deck that much.
Yeah.
Justin, hello. Oh, and Nam said, singing into a twinning. That would be beautiful right here.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's gonna search out.
I think that's exactly what we're about to see.
So unfortunately,
Yep.
this will shuffle the deck so that pitch stack does get a little bit messed up. But what can you do when you have a hand that perfect where you're like,
Oof.
Called it.
And he's gonna be forced to use the Brave Forge Bracers to try to stop this.
yeah,
And even that's not gonna prevent it from getting over if the card in Josh's hand is a buff. Oh, if the card in Josh's hand is a buff right now, that might have been the play for game.
honestly, maybe.
Because
Man,
he's
coming at
gonna
him
get a
with
draw.
5,
Oof.
and he can still Refraction Bolters, use Dorinthea.
Oh no, he used the Brave Forge Bracers, right? Or did he not? No, he didn't use the Brave Forge Bracers. Wow, his opponent's let his
Josh.
defense reaction.
I think he's about out of them though.
That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 block to Josh's 5, so he's pretty much no way he's getting over here.
Unless he has a route.
Like, unless he has a route, yeah. Unless he has a route. Wow. Wow.
He's gonna go route,
Oh.
Refracture
And
Bolters.
he's gonna draw off the Steel Blade Supremacy here. Pitch, Brave Forge Bracers, attack again, right?
He can unless he just wants to save it. But honestly, right now this is yep, he's breaking it.
Yeah,
said
he's.
Dorinthea
I mean,
effect.
his opponent's out of cards except for the 3 block in hand, so there's no way he can stop this
Yeah, because it's
unless
still
he
hitting for
blocks-
5.
unless he blocks with Tunic and a Brave Forge Bracers.
And he's going Brave Forge Bracers.
That'd be
Attack
sick.
you.
Oh yeah, there's no way you can stop that with the Brave Forge Bracers activation.
Wow.
You have to
And
take.
Kyle said that's the third fate for scene. So I think he's out of defense reactions here.
He's getting the counter, getting an arsenal card. That should be close to locking the game up, unless Josh draws extremely poorly on his next hand.
By the
After
way,
his
guys,
opponent's used all that equipment, oof.
especially in TTS, you don't see this that much, and I'm trying to incorporate it more and more. See how Josh is pitch stacking in TTS, and I notice most people just hit that automatic button at the end of the turn and let it rip, but
It's kind of hard to stack them sometimes.
yeah, it is. And Alberto's just going on blade for 3.
Oh, there's a hard to
Gaining
find
a
though to
life,
gain a
yep.
life. That's interesting. Oh, I didn't say the game was over. I just said that's the first step to it being over. It's going to be ridiculously hard with him having no arsenal now, using up almost all of his defense reactions. Now he's got the counter on his Dawnblade. Josh would have to draw very poorly not to be able to maintain the counter here, unless his opponent just gives him the hand.
Yep.
which at this stage in the game, his opponent's got 24 cards left in deck, and he's
You
used
gotta
up a
remember,
lot
if
of
the
the
game
really good
does get
cards.
that, if the game does
Yeah.
get down to that grindy point, that hard offend doll does not block.
Yep.
And Josh is
Interesting.
saying,
Josh is saying I have a
unfortunately-
lot of pump in hand. That's what he's
Yeah,
saying.
he's
He
saying,
said,
"I
"Do you
have
want
a
to give
lot
me
of
the
pump."
hand?"
Are you gonna give me the hand to try to get this counter off, or are you going to let me do some damage to you right now?
Because he has to give him at least 3 cards to prevent 1 pump. There's just no way Josh doesn't have 1 pump and 4 cards there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So he's pretty much gonna have to give him the hand here, and then he could even still get punished if he gives him the hand. So this is a really tough spot for his opponent. You think his opponent's playing Time Snap? We haven't seen any from his opponent, right?
No, probably not, because he's not including the flock package.
Yeah.
Let's go for 12 block. Maybe.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot for his opponent here.
And shout out Will saying, I do believe he is busting. Even though he didn't type it like that, that's what he said. All right.
That's how he meant it. A blue overpower, that's cool. Puts him up to 6. And stroke up to 9.
He's saying, I'm going to lose this counter, but you're taking some damage. And I'm going to have this arsenal. Oh, no, actually.
No.
He's not losing, yeah.
He's not losing the
keeping it.
counter.
Yeah, no, he's keeping that. So, I guess Alberto here has a pretty good hand if he wants to go to that low life and let Josh keep that counter, because...
I think he was basically saying, like, you're gonna have to... Okay, so, like, if I have to block with my whole hand to stop you from getting the counter, that's just not happening. So,
Yeah.
he just decided to take the damage, instead, which is probably the correct play. If as long as he has a Warrior's Valor and a Dawnblade like this, that's great. But now Josh has a life total advantage, so he's going to be able to work with his life total a little bit here.
Exactly.
So attack for 6 with go again. Josh wants to keep the momentum for sure. That's the only way you get to keep the Dawnblade counter. Is maintaining the momentum in the game. So this has got to be close to one of his opponent's last Warrior Valors. This is like number 7 or something that we've seen.
Yeah.
Which I assume they play the full Rainbow 9. So he has a decision to make here. If he blocks for 6, his opponent could have a buff in hand, or he could be bluffing it. So
Neil said he's getting PTSD watching this game.
basically. And Josh could just simply not block here, which looks like that's what he's choosing to do, and call him on the bluff. Yeah, so now he doesn't have to block big time unless that's one of those key cards we talked about, that red Iron Song response.
I believe he still has one.
He should still have one, for sure. But this is a much easier block for Josh now.
Yep, exactly.
He might give him the Tunic plus a 3 block. Not sure, or the Skullcap plus a 3 block. I mean, you wouldn't give the Tunic here.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
Yep, you call him on the bluff there. You know, if I was playing this game, that would have been a red Iron Song response to my opponent's hand, but such is the nature of my luck. 3rd Steel Blade Supremacy here for Josh. This is the last one of those, I believe. So this will put both of them out of Steel Blade Supremacies, I think.
I do believe so.
This should be an attack for 6. Yep. Threatening the draw.
Yeah, this is the interesting part, that Alberto right here, he has the Tuna counter up, still has the Refraction Bolters.
Yep.
So he could have a big play to swing the game back into his momentum.
Absolutely, absolutely. This game's far from over at this point.
And especially with that deck shuffle with the Singing Steel Blade,
Yep.
he hasn't really been able to set up a one-turn kill or a really huge turn to just like seal the game.
Yep. Yeah, I'm very curious as to how his opponent blocks here, because he could very well have a very, very good turn on the crackback. But we're getting into kill territory. Now it's worth mentioning, their life totals are falling around to that 10 range.
Yeah.
Once you start falling into that 10 range, single hands can be lethal. So
Exactly.
blocking is going to get a lot more difficult now, especially with both of them only having 2 block left in their equipment.
It's a little bit easier for Alberto because he has seen 2 routes from Josh. So that means he doesn't have to fear it, because I believe they're only playing the standard Dory's only playing 2 route.
I don't know. This is an old school build.
Yeah, it could very well.
We could have
Have
3
that
routes
surprise.
in this deck, yeah.
Sing Steelblade out into the route for game. That would be interesting.
Erlavia is saying no blocks now. He thinks that his opponent shouldn't block here. I don't know. I guess there's not many ways for Josh to have go again at this point with the refraction bolters gone. So taking
Josh
here,
would have to have a lucky glint here to make this turn really happen.
If his opponent doesn't have a good hand, he's 100% blocking right here. But if his opponent can't put any pressure on Josh for the following turn, then you have to be able to pressure if you're going to take this damage and go to 6, because I can promise you that while you're at 6, blocking becomes extremely sweaty and stressful.
I think one of the hardest parts of any Dorinthea game, whether you're on the receiving or you're dishing it out, well, I guess just on the receiving side, is that end game block. You know, when you're at that 10 life and you're like, they really could just overpower me and just have some nutty stuff here to kill me.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's kind of what Alberto is probably pondering right now. He's like, what's the most amount of damage
exactly
my opponent can do to me here? And if I take the damage, is my hand lethal enough to put the momentum back in my favor where I can actually try to win this game with a lower life total?
Yep. I'm going to step out for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I can understand why Alberto's taking his time on this block. This is definitely one of probably the biggest decisions of the game right here. The fact that Josh only has 1 card in hand and 1 card in arsenal makes it just a tad bit easier for him and a tad less scary, but this is one of the scariest attacks here. Being at a lower life total, threatening to go sub 10 life, it's just not a spot you want to have to put yourself in unless you know you're going to be able to represent a solid amount of damage on the follow-up attack. 100% attacking, have +3, says Aralavia. You want him to go to 3. I mean, it's something to go to 3, but like you just have to have a good attack. I mean, like if you don't, there's just no reason to go to 3 here.
So was Alberto? He ended up
saying no blocks. Josh is going to put him to 3, unless he has a Steelblade shunt, which he's hovering over his tunic counter. So I'm thinking he might have the shunt, but
maybe he's realizing the shunt doesn't get him there.
Oh, he's going to 3. Gonna draw a card here. Hopefully, Josh is probably banking on a defense reaction of some sort for Arsenal here. Having cycled through his cards like he did thinking, he probably just didn't want his opponent to... Man, another Warrior's Valor.
That's gotta be the last one, right? can we
like
get a deck count after this?
Yeah.
So now
actually, I'm going to look at the deck count here. They're about even, 22-21 on the deck count. 15 life to 3 life. If Josh can somehow just survive this attack,
and then this is where Josh
every attack is
is going to
lethal.
calculate every single damage he could possibly do. He's looking through the graveyard, I assume. And he's going to be like, can he kill me here? Alberto must have a great hand, yes. And hovering over that tunic makes me think he might have a shunt, but he's saving it for this next turn that's coming up to try to choke him one more turn and then go in for the kill. Make Josh take a bunch of damage here, thinking that he can pull it out, and then he goes, "Oh, shunt and 2 block, and I still have a turn." Or 1 block.
Something worth noting for sure as well is what we were talking about earlier with the math. So Josh is at 15 life. The Warrior's Valor, being the yellow one, only gives +2 here. So that's going to put his Dawnblade at 5. And if you account for +6 out of his hand in his arsenal, I don't believe he has enough resources to play +9 unless he has a red Iron Song response in hand. But +9 would put him from, let's see, 5, 9, that'd be 14, right? So being at 15 life puts him basically out of lethal range here. So Josh could potentially go to 1 life with a max attack from his opponent, and so the Dawnblade counter that his opponent would get would just not matter at this point. So my guess is Josh is probably going to take every bit of damage this turn, swing back with a 5-card hand,
and just hope he doesn't pull the Will Bradshaw shunt off the top.
Yeah, I mean, but that's only if he had a full max 9, right? So, I mean, it's very, very unlikely his opponent. So he doesn't have all the damage. So this is 4. His opponent could have 6 total. That's 10. Put him at lethal if he blocks with Tunic Cure. He's out of lethal range.
And this is the thing. Josh has got to go, if I block here, do I turn on a disgusting reprise effect like singing or route?
Yeah.
And does that lose me the game, or is just putting him on better habit, him having 2-3 pump spells?
Yeah.
I mean, not spells, but reactions.
Knowing Josh, he's not gonna use the better habit mentality.
Oh yeah, he's gonna try. He's gonna play it out correctly. I know he is, but
in this situation, how would you block? Say at a base level, every card in your hand blocks for 3, and you had a very average hand. Would you put Tunic in front of this and just say, like, I'll go to, your better habit or whatever? Like, because if this is a singing Steel Blade into Red Iron Song response, that's +4 +3 from the arsenal for the other card. That's 7 +4.
Sometimes the best play that, like, accounting for everything is the worst play you can make, and sometimes the worst play actually becomes the best play because their hand is just for how you blocked the correct hand, and it's just
actually I just realized I'm wrong there. The Tunic block would be fine because he cannot do the singing Steel Blade play because he does not he wouldn't have the reprise effect. So if he blocks with Tunic there, then he's pretty much guaranteed to live.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, if he blocks, does he have the 2 pump spells that cost 1, or if he does block, does he turn on something disgusting? It's just kind of hard.
The bolters want to let him to attack again. You can attack with the bolt. He wouldn't be able to attack with the Dawnblade 3 times unless he uses a Twinning Blade.
Yeah, right now bolters does not matter.
Ooh, this is really scary. This is really scary here. Yeah, the only way for somebody to attack with the Dawnblade 3 times in 1 turn is with a Twinning Blade.
Yep.
So the bolters actually just don't matter at all here.
Yeah, because the reason is because you're only allowed to attack with a weapon once per turn, but Dorinthea says you may attack with that weapon a second time, and Twinning Blade has the Dorinthea effect on a card.
Exactly.
So you have to hit with it to attack with it a second time and give it go again. So it has to meet both conditions, and that's where newer players get confused. Is meeting both conditions, and I've known some people early on who've won skirmishes, not understanding that effect, and their opponent didn't really understand it either.
Yep. Twinning is not a +4 unless you're saying, it's 4 because you get to attack with the Dawn Blade again. Twinning Blade has no other text on it other than being able to attack again.
I think that's what they're talking about. Is it is essentially another attack. But since he doesn't have bolters here, kind of makes twinning odd. I think he's played his twinning out for the game, and now he's just he's content with just trying to kill him on pump spells. I keep saying spells, reactions. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I think Josh is still contemplating on this next attack. He knows how crucial this is. He knows that if he blocks correctly here, he's probably going to be winning the game.
Yeah.
It's so hard to determine what the right blocks are here.
And in doubt, put them on.
But when in doubt, put them on. Better have it. Oh man! If it was me here, I would jam the Tunic in front of this and say, like, let me try to kill you with my 5-card hand because.
Yep. And hope you don't draw that shunt.
Yeah, there's just. I mean, even if he does the full damage, he would have to do the full amount of damage to have the shunt, right?
Yep.
Oh man, this is real tough. His opponent did take all the damage on the last week, so he knew he was going to be able to attack for a lot. I would assume that means that he thought that he had lethal. So I know Josh is thinking about if you had a Fate Foreseen or something here, this would be so much easier. Okay, so he is going to give him a card.
But does he turn on everything here with that one card?
Yes, but the damage that he would turn on from the reprise trigger isn't more.
Look at him twiddling.
I guess is he still deciding, or is he telling his opponent that he's blocking with Tunic?
I don't know. This is a very hard block here. He could just be like, oh, we know he might just take that card right back. All right.
So stroke,
got one
okay.
pump spell.
That card's gonna go straight back to the top. Is this another pump spell here?
Double pump, and he made the very correct call.
Oh, looks like it wasn't.
And I think that's perfect because the way he was hovering over Tunic, that's a shunt. It's got to be a shunt, right? Last turn, how he was hovering over Tunic like that, and how he didn't play it out this turn.
Oh, this is tough. What does Josh have in his arsenal?
I know, right?
Is it the third route?
Is it the overpower? The red overpower? Come on, what is it?
Now we're at the point where his opponent doesn't want to block to put on reprise effects, but has to block because he's threatening lethal.
Yeah.
So.
And then now his opponent has to calculate in his head, how much damage can he do?
Oh,
just like Joshua. What a great game.
I knew it was going to be a great game, but kind of like the middle game of Dorinthea is kind of boring, and then you get towards the end game, and it's just like a spike in entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
Because dang well after they finish this game, they're both going to be talking about it for a minute, being like, "Oh man, I should have blocked here. I should have done this. I should have done that." There's always so many decisions you can make in this matchup.
Alberto putting the bracers up, then being like, "I don't know."
He's still got 2 block left in his equipment, one from the bracers, one from the tunic. So technically, he could put both of those in front of this, and then bluff on the no pump from Josh's side, and not give him any reprise effects and go to 1. But he's definitely not going to do that.
Oh jeez.
I'm just really curious if he has the shunt. If he has the shunt right here, this is going to be very, very big for Josh's opponent.
I don't know. Would he be slow rolling the shunt like this?
Well, I mean, it's something to say to do the math, right? Like,
Yeah.
how much does a blue shunt block for? 5?
Oh, if he's playing blue shunt, then congratulations to
I mean, might be.
Yeah. We see the okay, so he's making the resource.
Yep, making the
Oh,
resource.
okay.
I see what's happening here.
Oh, wait. Reconsidering?
Man, he's like, block with the bracers, nah. Block with the tunic, nah. Okay, block for 4. Unless he decides to take this one back too.
Then Josh is going to be like, "Is that your final block, sir?"
Red Iron Song, we're up to 7.
I feel
this
like
is still lethal, so he's going to have the shunt or a sink below here. This is the last sink below, so that's all 3 fates and all 3 sinks. So that puts him up to 8 block. See if Josh has a route in hand, maybe, for game. No, that wouldn't be quite game. It'd be 1 short, I think. But
and does he?
But the hit and run would.
And
Oh,
the twinning.
oh, twinning blade is very, very good here.
Oh my goodness. Hitting for another break point, so he says, "I want your tunic."
Oh, the twinning blade is so good here. Did he use the Braveforge bracers, or did he forget to use the Braveforge?
He might have just known he had a shunt, so he's like, it doesn't matter.
That's also fair.
But that's so good that he's getting rid of that shunt now, not when he's closer to 1. So I believe that's the last one too. So he's out of defense reactions.
Oh, only if you control a weapon that has hit this turn. The Braveforge bracer says the first has to hit.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay,
I forgot about that.
Good to know. Good to know. Josh knows what he's doing. All right, he would not miss that kind of stuff. Shame on us.
Oh no, no. I just thought it was curious whether he was trying to say like if your opponent lets you hit with the Dawn Blade that you can still attack again with it, but it wouldn't have go again either. So I was just confused as to why he wouldn't use the last resource, but that makes perfect sense.
And this is actually a precarious situation because Josh can't put him on better half because you can just guess he has it. All right.
5's a good life total though.
Yes.
If you block for 4 here, the max your opponent can have, I believe, is a pump 4. If you block with 1 card from hand plus tunic, you block for 4, put your opponent on a 4 pump or a 3 pump. It's most likely just 3, which would put you out of shunt range still. So he could still keep a 3-card hand here.
He's got to be careful because that refraction bolters is still up.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Let's see. Yeah, this is tough. This is real tough. That's the power of refraction bolters, saving it for the end game. Yeah, Nathan's saying that Josh has to play around route, and he knows.
We have not seen one.
Honestly, at this point in the game, I'm not sure with the current state of the game that he can play around route. I'm not sure he could win the game playing around route every turn.
Yep. Someone in the chat, they said this attack cannot hit, and I agree with that. If this attack is able to hit, Josh is in a very precarious situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that shunt his opponent had on the last turn was very, very timely.
Yep. I mean, he's had every single Warrior's Valor and defense reaction in his deck. Oh, jeez.
So
this is such a high level of play right here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Also,
the tunic is helping his math on this, you know.
I think Josh is also trying to decide how he can get some value out of that last block in the skull cap as well.
Oh yeah.
That's another bit of math he's trying to figure out here.
Alberto fortunately had the benefit of blocking with the skull cap early and then having the bracers to play around with the breakpoints and not have to worry about the life total. Because Josh did keep that high life total at the beginning of the game.
Yep. Let's see. All right, there's a shunt. I think this is a very, very good play here from Josh.
Yep.
Because this puts him at 7, which puts him right over the right specifically at the break point that his opponent doesn't want.
And by the way, the skill in that was if his opponent had route, he would have just put that steel blade shunt right back into his hand, and that was the only target he could have had, and he could have picked one more card to block again, dealing another damage.
Yep. Without defense reactions, you just can't play around route.
Exactly. Now,
this is where things get complicated. Every attack reaction is lethal, so his opponent basically has to block with 2 cards.
Block with 2 cards and then hope he doesn't have a...
Only blocking with 1?
Stroking? Okay. Does he have another defense reaction? Have we miscounted the steel blade?
He could definitely have shunt still, I think. I don't think he's used them all. He's definitely out of sinks and fates, I'm almost certain.
Has he drawn like the Heart of Fenandal with a bunch of other stuff? Okay, so this has got to be the last shunt here.
Yeah.
Oh geez, this game is...
Oh geez, Rick. Oh geez, Rick. But now well, I guess his Arsenal card, right? Dang. Man. Shunts are doing work on their life totals.
I know, right? Wow. Still has 2 floating, by the way. So, if that route's there, it is there.
Nathan says that's game Josh has it. So, I'm curious if he's correct. I don't see it yet.
I mean, and this is the
you
big brain moment.
Do you just block with 1 card here?
Oh no.
Well, if you block with 1 card, his opponent has 6 at most, right? But he has the refraction bolters plus.
Yes, he could have route here, which is the big thing.
Yeah, if Josh doesn't have a defense reaction, this gets real tough.
Well, I mean, he can still throw 3 cards in front of it if he does have the route. And let him bounce back 1. It's still at 6 and 6. Then he has a 2-card hand.
Throwing 3 cards in front of a naked Dawnblade would feel bad, wouldn't it?
It would. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And then at that point, his opponent probably wouldn't even play out the route. He'd just be like, oh, thanks for the 3 cards.
Oof. Opponent still has refraction bolters, 1 block in his equipment, and is the one attacking at the moment. So, and it's hard to say who's advantaged at the moment.
And this is the big play. Put him on better habit or play it safe. And he's just
saying, nice, very nice. This is just like a great time to have a steel blade shunt. Putting his opponent at 1, but that's the last shunt, I believe, for Josh.
Give me a deck count. I feel like I've seen these cards so many times.
We got 15 on his opponent and 17 for Josh. Oh, here we go.
We got spoils.
This is going to get 2 cards out of hand.
Mm-hmm. The only problem here is Josh has been playing around the route, but it's like if it is a route, then
Oh, if it is a route, he's
can't-
probably dead.
you can't keep playing around it.
Oh, Brandish is actually quite a good card to have right now. Brandish attacks for 3, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. And I believe is Alberto playing Razor, right?
That would be disgusting if he razors the belittle for game.
And he still has the tunic counter up.
Oh, the belittle is really, really good here.
Well, it wouldn't kill him, luckily. So that's why he's saying, if that is a Razor in Arsenal, go ahead and hit me with it. Oh, wouldn't it be just beautiful if that card in Arsenal was like something he couldn't play, and this whole time
We're not worried about route right now anymore. Oh, actually, no, he has tunic counter. Never mind. Scratch that.
Yep. Yep. He has tunic. He can still route. Oh my god.
Oh, lordy, lordy, because we have not seen him use a player route, right?
And this is
He
it
blocked
sounds
with one,
awful.
I think.
It sounds so awful, but that's Josh. Have to. I don't know if he has another shunt in his deck. If he has another shunt in his deck, does he just play the blockout game until I draw shunt and win?
Yes. If he has another shunt
he
in his
has
deck,
another
that's what I would
Yes.
do for sure.
And then the question is, if that was his last shunt, and he kind of just has a feeling like this is the one route this guy is playing, does he put him on better havoc because he can't have a turn unless he plays it out? Okay, out for blood. Putting him at 1.
Josh is going to go to 1 here. Or sink. Oh, we got a sink
sink.
below.
There we go. That is perfect.
Now they're back on somewhat even terms.
I mean, being
Gosh.
being up 3 life is actually super important in this game. Because that means he can eat 1. Oh, and he's saying,
Oh.
I'm going to Arsenal here. He might have 1 more shunt left or something. And that's why
Yeah.
he's like,
I
I'm
don't-
just going to dig cards.
I'm wondering if that card he arsenaled was Singing Steelblade. Remember that hand that I was talking about?
Yeah.
With the Singing Steelblade, and the Steelblade
Alberto
Supremacy?
with-
Oh wait,
with-
no, we've shuffled long ago. Never mind.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
With another Warrior's Valor, can I get a deck count? Is that all 9? Are we at
Opponent's
9
playing
yet?
cash in too. That's got to be all 9, right?
That I feel like it has to.
That's gotta be. Gotta be. Guys, if you are enjoying this match, I want you to smash that like button right now because
Oh my goodness, yeah.
two of the greats are going at it right now with some old school Dorinthea action, and
And
this
it's
is
that
phenomenal.
game?
It's a shot. It's a shot, but he has their route, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. The shunt's gonna deal the damage.
It doesn't matter.
Oh wait. Or he's playing it out again.
Oh, he can play it out again. Doesn't matter.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Oh, he had the yellow shot.
The yellow shot.
Oh, he had the
my
heart.
God.
Oh no.
Let's
Good
go.
game. Good game. GG's in the
What?
chat.
How many cards are left in deck? 10 cards and 3 cards? Oh my goodness.
Good game. GG's
That
in the
was-
chat, guys. There wasn't 3
GG.
cards. He was drawing a bunch there. He
Okay.
had 7 cards left
Oh,
in deck.
Just
But-
checking his deck, what he
Yeah.
drawn.
Ow.
Oh my goodness. When he arsenal that card, I'm like, it's gonna be. I'm like, he's either trying to draw into the shunt here by just trying to get every card through his deck because he's sync below and then just arsenal the way, or he's gotta.
Fantastic match.
Jeez.
Fantastic.
What a nail biter.
match.
What a nail biter!
I was not sure who was going to win that.
It was very precarious. I mean.